Greetings, all! Today, we will be examining the rare normal Psychic-type Pokemon Oranguru, the Sage Pokémon, and the rare Fighting-type Pokemon Passimian, the Teamwork Pokémon. While the powers and feats they are capable of might differ substantially between the two, Oranguru and Passimian are two potent creatures related to humans that more than show together just how close we really are in terms of both intelligence and social structure.
Oranguru have fairly humanoid bodies on account of being a type of orangutan, with white fur and grey five-fingered hands and feet, their face being the same grey color with a yellow four-pointed star on their forehead and small nostrils that mark their nose. Their back is adorned with a thick mat of bright violet hair with yellow streaks running through it, and their eyes have a yellow color to them with blue sclera. Passimians share the simian relationship, being a type of lemur, with the same five-fingered structure to their form, as well as white and black patterned fur and a long black tail with a single white stripe across it. They have a snout of sorts to them, with green leaves stuck to their shoulders and as a sprig on their head, with a yellow and orange patterned forehead and red eyes with yellow sclera.
Oranguru have dwelled in the forests of places like the Alola and more recently Galar regions for thousands of years, and are generally quite benign compared to some of the more fierce local organisms, more than proving to be knowledgeable about the lands they call home.
They generally live high up in the treetops, where they can remain hidden from view, preferring to remain not only cautious, but in a safe place where they can meditate in peace. They usually will only come down in order to gather fruits and other organic foods to eat, and even then, they usually do not go very far from their home. Because these creatures have a habit of walking upright most of the time, in contrast to Pokemon like Passimian, these beasts were mistaken for people in ancient times by the natives of the Alola region, being referred to as the people of the forest. Today, these creatures have been rendered rare as a result of deforestation in the lands of the native regions, but they are now thankfully protected under government law and are thus completely illegal to hunt, which works out fine for most, as they really do not have much to offer in the way of prizes or physical goods, as they live simple lives and make whatever tools they need from scratch. This even extends to the fans that they use to both focus their special powers and cool themselves on the hottest days of the year, as they are made from layers of leaves bound together with clumps of their own fur, carefully crafted into a primitive string that is also used for a myriad array of other daily chores. They are further noted for being incredibly kind and generous, as they will craft and provide herbal medicine to hurt Pokemon and provide food to those that are hungry.
What makes Oranguru really stand out among primates, however, is their incredible intelligence and access to psychic powers.
While they can learn how to speak human languages surprisingly fluently, this does not deter from observations of their mental prowess in addition to this. These creatures naturally possess an intelligence level that exceeds that of ordinary humans, and they're able to use this intelligence, alongside their meditation, to wield psychic energy as an offensive tool in battle. Aside from this, it has also been observed on rare occasions that these beasts will travel down to the beaches of the native regions and match wits against the likes of Pokemon like Slowking, helping to cement their general intelligence among Pokemon. This also extends to their interactions with other Oranguru, as they do not like the company of their own species and will often try to match wits with one another to prove who is superior.
What makes this intelligence both intriguing and a bit scary, though, is the fact that they have managed to adapt to human technology at a pace faster than humans have in history.
The recent introduction of industrialization and modern society into places like the Alola region in particular has resulted in the curiosities of these creatures skyrocketing, as they will often carefully observe the actions of their trainers and humans in general, and not just imitate them, but quickly learn the purpose and consequence of every action they make. On the one hand, this can make them very hard to handle, as they will look down upon trainers that are inexperienced and don't understand how to make the best use of their power in battle, rendering them best used by veteran trainers. On the other hand, it has allowed their behavior to change radically to the point where they have been observed using modern medicinal items like potions and revives, and in some cases, they have even been observed using capture devices on their own, summoning fellow allied Pokemon in a battle and giving orders as they wish to with their fan if they find themselves to be outmatched and in need of a partner for help. This particular action also ties into their signature technique, the Instruct technique, which allows these creatures to use their psychic powers to suggest to a Pokemon that it should use the last move it used again, and can do so without wasting a combat turn for the target Pokemon in the process.
It is further emphasized in their abilities, as their exceptional intelligence and calm minds can allow them to have inner focus and telepathy as base abilities, and those with good teamwork skills can also potentially have access to symbiosis as a hidden ability.
As far as the stats go, it can be seen that these apes are not the best at physical fights and are really not built to move all that quickly, the base attack and speed stats being below average for fully evolved normal and psychic type Pokemon. However, they can take punishment fairly well and deal it back out in turn with special attacks, the base defense and special attack stats being above average for a fully evolved normal type Pokemon, and the base HP and special defense stats being above average for a fully evolved Pokemon of both of their types, making them solid fighters that can certainly be relied on when the chips are down. Passimian are never observed in the wild alone, always traveling in large groups of 20 to 30 individuals, each with a special assigned role, and work together as a team in nearly every sense of the word for every action they take. Passimian groups are led by an alpha male, a role assigned to whoever can throw a large berry the farthest, who decides how their arms are to be marked to identify different members and serve as the teacher, mentor, and coach throughout their lives, always acting in the best interest of the group while remaining independent in mind to some degree. The groups themselves are distinguished from one another by the positions of leaves that are on their shoulders, which Passimian stick on using their saliva. When these creatures go out to forage for food, their favorite berries especially, the leader will form a group of the 10 most capable foragers and split them up from there, with a pair of Passimian traveling into a different part of their habitat to not only increase the overall search area the group can cover, but to ensure that if one of the group members runs into trouble, they will always have a partner by their side that can assist when needed, so they never feel quite alone.
The mutual bond that is formed between group members further cements these actions, as they are incredibly loyal to one another and will always fight with and beside their comrades, even if the better option for their own survival is to flee.
This lifestyle is very much reflected in the way that these creatures battle, as they want their trainers to be strong leaders as well, and to give them orders that will help them reach victory as soon as possible. As such, trainers must take the initiative in training and combating these creatures, as they will rarely attack on their own accord otherwise. In the wild, Passimian might use their bare hands to attack, but they prefer to instead use the shells of the hardest berries in the native regions as weapons that they can actually throw to deal damage, which also happens to be the type of berry that forms the core staple of their diet. However, throwing these objects is never a simple toss, but a coordinated act of teamwork as well, as groups of these beasts will toss their hard projectiles back and forth to each other to bewilder their opponent until someone spots a weak point, at which point they will throw the hard berry at this vulnerable spot in order to maximize the amount of damage they do. In some cases, these creatures will also use soft berries as a distraction, throwing them at the faces of their opponent with incredible force and causing them to splatter over their opposition and render them unable to see, leaving them incredibly vulnerable. Techniques for improving coordination among team members and improving their skills in handling berries are taught to Passimian through regular training exercises led by their group leader, with the group leader treating these techniques as teachings that are passed down from generation to generation.
Unfortunately, not all Passimian are able to handle the strenuous exercise and thus end up running away, leading them to be seen as an outcast until they can learn to come back into the group and act as a team player once more. This even extends to how they treat their trainers, as they value their throwing abilities and will not listen to the orders of a trainer who exhibits poor form in the throwing of their capture devices to release their Pokémon.
It is further noted that these mannerisms and strategies all play into their signature ability, Receiver, which allows them to change their mental state to copy the ability of an allied Pokémon after they faint in battle, though those that buck the normal trend of the species and are not afraid to speak up for themselves and act as they wish against a potential leader can also have Defiant as a hidden ability. In terms of stats, Passimian follow the route of many fire types in that they tend to be specialized for only physical confrontations. While they underperform in terms of special attributes and mobility, the base special attack, special defense, and speed stats being below average for fully evolved fighting type Pokemon, the base attack stat is at least average, and the base HP and defense stats are above average, allowing them to deal some notable damage in battle and make the most of the powerful physical attacks they learn naturally.
Though they might be worlds apart in terms of specialties and powers, Oranguru and Passimian are impressive creatures that can more than put a good name to those in the Pokemon world closely related to the modern human species. You best would be prepared for facing these beasts in battle, as they can more than turn the tables when you least expect it with their powerful moves and special attributes.
Just do yourself a favor and never try to one-up them at their best games. Otherwise, Oranguru are likely to give you a scolding that you will not need a translator to understand, and Passimian might decide to play a little rough with you. And by that, I mean throwing the hardest berry they can find to leave a mark on you that you won't soon forget about.
Thank you all for watching this video. It is always a pleasure to help teach others about the world of Pokemon and the many facets of it that exist in both the world we call home and the world they call home. If you'd like, please leave a comment and subscribe and ring the bell to this channel to get regular updates on content and anything else that might be going on. You can find me and my written work on DeviantArt under the name Utitus, and be informed of information and content uploads on my Twitter page and my Patreon page. Donations are always welcome. Always remember, the world of Pokemon is a vast and varied place, and there's no telling what secrets might be hiding just around the corner. So keep watch, stay vigilant, and always prepare for the unexpected. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.